In 2019, an album hit #1 on the Billboard charts while only selling 823 copies. That's hard to believe, I know, but that's what happened with A Boogie with the Hoodies hoodie season. And it's a perfect example to how streaming has completely changed the rap industry, from how artists create music to how we listen to it. Before streaming, the music industry was on life support. Piracy through LimeWire and other torrent sites were completely draining profits. I mean, why pay $30, $40, $60 for an album when you could just download it for free off of your computer? Even when I was a kid and I wanted to listen to that new Katy Perry album, I had to download it off of YouTube MP3, largely because I didn't have the money to pay for that, but also because I didn't want to have to ask my parents to buy it for me because it had the song I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. And I wasn't allowed to do that yet. But streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, and especially SoundCloud changed everything. By offering cheap, legal access to music, fans had no reason to download illegally anymore.
Oh!
Not.
Oh!
This shift was huge for all of music, but more than pop, country, rock, or any other genre, it seems to have affected rap the most. Hip-hop was already dominating the Billboard top charts as it still is today, but streaming took it even further. By 2018, rap officially became the top most consumed genre in North America, even beating out pop music, which is literally short for popular music. The ease of streaming also gave hip-hop a more global audience. A kid in Compton could blow up in Tokyo or Lagos or Paris overnight. Streaming didn't just change music, it amplified rap's cultural presence around the world. Afrobeat stars like Burna Boy mix African rhythms with rap all the time. Even K-pop artists have begun to heavily incorporate rap into their music, which has historically been a very pop-influenced sound. And of course, streaming didn't just change who could hear music, it changed who could make it. Enter the SoundCloud era. Platforms like SoundCloud were instrumental for the evolution of rap as we have it today, and the genre would not be nearly as close to what it is now without it. SoundCloud turned bedrooms into studios, giving upcoming artists total freedom to create whatever they want, wherever they want, however they want, which brought out iconic artists such as XXXTentacion, Playboi Carti, Juice WRLD, and pretty much the whole damn XXL 2016 freshman list could not have been possible without the help of SoundCloud. These artists didn't need fancy labels, big budgets, or catering to broad appeal. Just raw, unfiltered music uploaded straight to the internet, which allowed for artists to get creative with their music, which is why this era had such a distinct sound. It was different, unique, and a breath of fresh air for the genre at the time. A lot of people, including myself, still share a deep love and admiration for this era of music because it was just so fun. Distorted 808s, sometimes silly lyrics, bubblegum rap, lo-fi production, it was all real, relatable, and perfect for a generation raised on the internet. Look at Me, Don't, Tunnel Vision, White Iverson, Lucid Dreams, EXO Tour Life. These are just a few hits that blew up from SoundCloud and have made these artists incredibly successful. SoundCloud Rap showed that anyone with talent and a laptop could blow up. It broke down barriers and democratized music like never before. Another big change caused by streaming is song lengths. You've probably noticed that hip-hop tracks are getting shorter and shorter. Back in the day, hip-hop songs were 4 to 5 minutes long on average, sometimes even longer. Now, many big tracks barely touch 2 minutes long, if even that. And sure, part of the reason for that is probably because the population's attention span as a whole has dropped exponentially in the past couple of years, but it's also because of streaming. The streaming economy itself has changed how artists think about song structure. Streaming platforms prioritize tracks that rack up more plays. A shorter song, one that leaves you wanting more, has a better chance of being replayed over and over. More plays mean more streams, and more streams means more money, baby. Everybody knows the gigantic hit Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. At just 1 minute and 53 seconds long, it became a cultural phenomenon, holding the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for a record-breaking 19 weeks. It was also the fastest song in history to go diamond, and it's not even 2 minutes long. But I, along with most people, probably wouldn't even consider this an unusually short song because that is around the length we've come to expect in this new age of streaming. Before streaming, there would not be a single song on the Billboard Top 100 that would be below 2 minutes long. And if there was, people would have probably been saying it's far too short to even be considered a song. They would be calling it more like a jingle or something. This shift has been especially impactful in hip hop, where minimal beats and repetitive hooks already dominate. Now, hit tracks like Lil Yachty's Poland, for example, sitting at 1 minute and 22 seconds long, can go completely viral like we saw it do last year. And it's a prime example of how short, catchy songs can thrive in this streaming era. Hello everyone, it is me, Future Mickey. I have come from the future to tell you all that my footage got corrupted and I have to re-record this part of the video. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. Song lengths. While this trend of shorter songs has made music more accessible and replayable, it's not without its critics. Many people have argued that shorter songs sacrifice storytelling and depth in favor of replay value, which seems to be the case for a lot of these new gen artists. But that's a conversation for another video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I don't know if you can tell, but I just winked. In this new streaming era that we're living in, playlists have sort of become the new radio. Cause let's be real, if you're over the age of 40 and you go into your car thinking, I wonder what's on Chum FM today, you're a freak, a weirdo, and need to be administrated to a mental hospital immediately. Me personally, I don't care if I'm bleeding out on my way to the hospital. I'm waiting for that Bluetooth to connect so I can listen to that new Playboi Carti if it ever comes out. But that's all for me. Back to the past I go. Spotify and Apple Music's curated playlists have the power to turn a song into a viral hit overnight if it gets lucky enough to get put on one, not even to mention TikTok. But the catch is that the rap playlists tend to favor a certain sound. Trap beats, booming 808s, and simple addictive hooks dominate because that's what keeps listeners streaming, and that's what keeps the money coming in. Artists like Travis Scott, Migos, Future, Drake, all these artists have mastered this formula. And of course, we have to mention the effect that streaming has had on albums. In the pre-streaming days, albums were the centerpiece of an artist's career. Whether you were buying a physical CD or downloading from iTunes, purchasing an entire album made the most sense and was the norm for a large majority of people. Albums weren't just collections of songs, they were cohesive projects meant to be experienced as a whole. Fans would wait in line at midnight for a release, savoring every track. But now, streaming has sort of flipped that idea. Today, most listeners don't consume albums the same way. Instead, they tend to cherry pick individual tracks from playlists or gravitate towards the biggest hits. Curated playlists or social media have become the dominant way people find new music, making singles more important than ever. Even when a major album drops, casual listeners will often skip the deep cuts and probably only go to download the songs they've already heard on TikTok or know are big hits already. This has created a major shift in how artists approach their releases. Instead of carefully crafting a cohesive story, many artists now focus on creating longer albums packed with as many tracks as possible to maximize numbers, which is why a lot of people have been complaining that albums these days are so long. Like seriously, an album should be like an hour max. I should not need to clear my whole goddamn schedule for the day to listen to an album. 2 hours and 32 tracks? What are we doing? Blonde by Frank Ocean, now that's an album. 1 hour long and the songs tell the story of a bigger narrative. That's why he's the GOAT. Used to be able to listen to an album on your way to school or work and experience the entire story of the project and the story that the artist wanted to tell. Now a lot of albums are just a collection of as many random singles an artist can put on there to generate the most streaming revenue as they can instead of a cohesive story. So once again, it's capitalism's fault, like literally every other problem in the world. Artists have adapted by releasing more singles, EPs, and even playlist albums. Take an album like Drake's Scorpion. These sprawling projects are designed for streaming success rather than artistic coherence. Longer albums mean more chance to get streams, and streams drive revenue. That being said, albums aren't completely obsolete or anything. Artists like Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, Lil Sims, and a whole bunch of other artists still release projects with deep narratives and strong themes that are very well received, proving that the album format can still thrive in the streaming era. But for casual listeners, the days of listening to an entire album front to back are becoming rare. Hey guys, it's Future Mickey again. Nothing was wrong this time. I just Kind of missed you guys and wanted to say hi. But I also wanted to mention another crazy thing caused by streaming. It's the fact that you can change albums after they're released. That is crazy. That is very weird to me. It's like albums are the only thing you can do that with. A book, a movie, you can't really change it after you've released into the world. It's it, it's done, it's finished. But because of streaming, you're able to do that now. Artists are able to tweak them after release. They're able to add features, take away features, fix the mixing, the EQ, everything. The famous example being Kanye West's The Life of Pablo. A lot of people had complaints about the mixing when it first got released and went in and fixed it on. Now it sounds so much better. But he's not the only one. Artists like Drake and Young Thug have done this too. Artists are constantly making post-release edits and adjustments to fit their vision and boost streams. But to finish off, streaming hasn't just changed how we listen to hip-hop, it's changed almost what hip-hop is. Hip-hop's journey from underground mixtapes to being the most streamed genre is a testament to its adaptability and cultural power. But as we adapt to this new streaming era, it's important to ask, what are we gaining and what might we be losing? Shorter songs might dominate playlists, but do they leave the same impact as a carefully crafted album? Algorithms can amplify artists overnight, but are they narrowing the creative possibilities of the genre? Streaming brought global access to hip-hop, but how do we ensure that its authenticity isn't diluted in the process? Hip-hop has always been about breaking barriers, rewriting rules, and amplifying voices. The question now is, how can we as fans, artists, and a culture not just use streaming as a tool for success, but also as a way to push the genre forward? Thank you guys so much for listening to me yap again, and as always, I'm yomickii, and I'll see you guys in the next video. No, I'm not ready to go back. I'm not ready to go back.